Hey, I'm so stoked because today we're hanging out with a beautiful, gorgeous elopement photographer, Meghan Gibson. She has recently, last year, relocated to Scotland. She's so fucking cool, so funny, a Gen Z dream, and she is what she has, she is a self-proclaimed type A photographer ready to help type B photographers and ADHD girlies get organized in their businesses. And so, if you're a photographer, videographer, the business is growing, you're getting overwhelmed with your emails, you forget to follow up with your clients, contracts, invoices, everything just feels so disorganized. You don't have a great system for organizing your files. Basically, if there's just a bunch of boring shit that you haven't gotten to in your business and now you literally don't know how or where to start, Megan is your girl, and I bet we can get you where you need to go in your business in just a few hours. So enjoy this conversation with Megan. Hybrid Hangout is literally what it sounds like. This is a place to hang out and talk about what it takes to build a photography business, especially if you're even a little bit curious about adding video. I'm Shay, and I'm so stoked that you've come to hang out with me and talk about the stuff I'm already thinking through after a week of running my photo video business. Here you're going to find conversations about why photographers are booked up and yet still so stressed about money, why being photo only has a financial ceiling, and why adding video is one of the simplest ways to raise your average booking without blowing up your workload. I shoot photo and video at weddings, sometimes solo, sometimes with a team, and I sell high packages because I'm selling photos and simple story-driven video with the equipment I'm already using. Hybrid Hangout is where I talk about how I do that, how I shoot hybrid photo video in a way that doesn't make the day harder, how I edit both mediums quickly without it taking over my life, how I package and price photo and video so it sells without feeling weird, how I market so things compound instead of resetting every month. There will be strategy. There will be rants. There will be very specific systems. There will be side quests about business, money, confidence, burnout, gear, clients, boundaries, and whatever else I'm deep into at the time. This podcast is about building a smarter photography business, one that includes motion and paying you better. If you like photography, you like money, and you like learning in a way that feels more like hanging out than being taught at, you will probably love Hybrid Hangout. So come on, let's hang out. Hello, Megan. Thank you for hanging out with me today. How are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm so good. Holy shit. I gave the hybrid hangouters, that is not what they are called. I'm so sorry. So sorry if you're listening to this so offended by that label. We'll figure out something better. I gave the listeners a cunty little intro about you,
Oh,
that you're just gonna fix their entire lives, basically. But you have
basically.
to tell me, you're my favorite type A photographer. How did you become such an organizational queenie in your business?
I feel like it's my personality. Like I've always been such a type A. And like everything I do, I'm like that was me as a kid. I would be like so excited for back to school shopping and get all my folders for like each of my classes and like that's just always how I've functioned. And I'm like so sad that people don't have systems like this or like aren't organized. Like to each their own. But like I just love being organized.
Okay, I love this, and it reduces so much stress, but you have to tell me, like, if you agree with me on this before we begin.
Mhm.
Math is blue, science is green.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. To
absolutely.
me, English is red.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, okay. And then what other classes do we have? History, that's whatever color's left.
I thought that was, wait, wasn't that yellow or was that math?
To me, math is blue because it's adjacent to science, which has to be green.
Okay, well, for me, like social studies or history was I
Mm,
probably yellow then. Yellow or like
okay.
orange.
Yeah, I can respect that. Okay, well, if we agree on that, then the rest of this podcast is just going to be easy breezy.
I agree.
Amazing. So, Megan, when you have a type V girly or an ADH girly, like the type of photographer, videographer who might be listening to this episode, they probably clicked because the title was like, oh my God, how to organize my business. I don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
So let's give it to them right away. If someone is drowning in their business and they don't even know what they should fix first, what would be your answer to them?
My first thing I think is always time blocking and like just
Hmm.
coming up with like what the hell am I doing today? Because from there you can figure out what the hell you need to do that day and like what's most important to you and like how long that's gonna take. The thing I love so much about time blocking is it's not just a never-ending to-do list. You actually
Hmm.
go into your calendar and you put in things that are just like non-negotiables, right? Like you have kids, you need to drop them off at school at this time. Like you just can't work during that time period and that's okay. But you know that they're in school or they're have childcare from like 2 to 4 that day. So within that hours, you can just block out a time from 2 to 4 to either say this is when I'm working, or for me, some days I need like individual tasks to be like, I need to look at emails for 30 minutes, and this is my 30-minute email mark. So from
Hmm.
there, you can kind of go like, okay, this is really easy. I can do it in 15 minutes. Like just sit down and see what I need to do for the day or the week. Within my course, I say always do Fridays. Last thing you do is just plan out your next week. If you have to adjust it, that's fine, but it just gives you a place to start and you're not feeling so overwhelmed in the weekend going, oh shit, I still have to do this. You already have a
Yeah.
plan for next week.
So, with time blocking, I talk with photographers and videographers all the fucking time who get in these periods where they think the only thing that they're allowed to do is edit or answer emails. Have you ever gotten to that point in your business, Megan?
Yes, sometimes I do get to that point, but then I remember there's other things that you need to do to have a successful photography business. So if you do need to edit, block it out for like those 2 hours. If you do need to respond to emails, that's the bane of your existence. Do it for an hour in the morning, but make sure you're setting aside time to actually be marketing and like tending to your Instagram and like making your content. Anything that
Okay.
you need to do that week, you can like block in.
I love that. So that makes it sound so easy, beautiful, perfect. Like it's going like in an ideal world that's possible. But I know I have students listening. I know I have photographers and videographers listening who are like, "No, Megan, like emails literally I'm buried in them all day every day. Like there's no way I can confine that to 30 minutes here and 30 minutes there." What do you think is happening with those photographers? Like why are they feeling so buried in their inbox all the time?
I would definitely want to look into your CRM. Our CRM is our client relations management. So that is a really good platform to just keep touching base with your client when you have contracts and invoices that you need to send. They seamlessly send that. I know you use HoneyBook, so they have a lot of really good integrations with like note takers and client calls. But on like a baseline level, your CRM keeps you organized and knowing when you should be reaching out to your clients and what the next step is in your workflows.
Okay, beautiful. So say I'm a photographer, videographer. I sort of get what a CRM is. Like to me, it's just like, not to me, but if I'm the listener, that if I'm
Mhm.
thinking, okay, it's just like really expensive and I'm not like using all of the tools inside of it, it literally is how I send contracts and invoices. Like, what else should I even be doing in it? What would you say to someone thinking that?
I think the biggest thing, at least for me, I love using like the automations and the workflows, and that just keeps me going as far as, oh, I do need to send this email to this person. It's kind of like like we don't have bosses as photographers. This is the thing that keeps me like someone's like poking or like breathing down my back to like get something done that day for my client. And at the end of the day, like that's the most important thing is that you're constantly in communication with your client. You're not forgetting anything, all your touch points, all of the times that you're supposed to talk to your client are happening, and you're always meeting the promise of like, I am sending you the guides that I promised. I am asking you the questions that I promised. And we are like sending a sneak gallery or a full gallery within the 4 weeks because something is reminding you to do that.
That is such a great point and a sigh of relief for the photographers listening who are like, okay, I don't even get the point of this thing. How does it remind you when to do these things?
Depending on the CRM that you have, I know HoneyBook sends you emails.
Hmm.
Do they?
Yep.
Okay. For Studio Ninja, they just send you a notification like in your on your dashboard that this is done. So every morning I like open up Studio Ninja, I check and see what I need to do that day with my clients. Maybe it's like time blocked in my system to like check on client tasks, and then I get done anything that my CRM tells me to do.
Okay, gorgeous. So basically, we're paying for a little robot boss to remind us to be good to our clients and to dazzle them.
Yes. And I think it's really
Amazing.
important.
I think it's really, really important too.
It's
Um,
worth the money for sure to make sure that you're not like missing something for your client. Like if you're charging people money, like this is such a small fraction of what such a small fraction of what you need in order to like have a successful, smooth operating business.
Agreed. Um, so I think one thing that sort of gets lost sometimes is even just literally step one, right? And
Mhm.
so the first step in client communication tends to be a potential client filling out the form on your website. I've
Yep.
had photographer, videographer students in the past who don't have that initial form connected to their CRM. So
Mm.
for those who might be in that boat, can you explain just the benefit of having that initial form being attached to your CRM and what that even looks like from both sides?
Yeah. So I think it seamlessly integrates just like all the information that you would ever need from your client directly into your CRM. So instead of going through and like typing out by hand, like what their name is, making sure you got their email correct, making sure you have their date, they've already filled that out for you and it just like appears in your CRM. From there, you can also see if you already have something booked on that date, your CRM usually notifies you and says, oh, you can't take this job. So I think that's another really good benefit of having a CRM. However, going back to this whole leads form thing, it saves you so much time because you don't need to copy and paste so much information, and you know you're getting the right information in because the client entered it in themselves.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with this. So, just to recap a little bit, we started this with the photographer whose main problem is feeling buried in emails every single day and feeling like they can't keep
Mhm.
on top of them. And so, we've already explained that this systemizes or it makes it repeatable, the process of getting emails out and managing them and making sure they're sorted in projects in a way that does not feel overwhelming anymore. And the CRM literally reminds you if you haven't followed up and what's important. So that already eliminates a ton of time and a lot of stress from these type B photographers who might be listening, or and the ADHD girlies like me who get distracted really easily and get scared when the inbox starts piling up with emails. Like you just start getting head in the sand, right? And ignoring emails.
Absolutely.
So once that problem is fixed, then we should talk about what else we should be systemizing in our business, Megan. What are some other things that photographers struggle with in your experience with staying organized in their business that might get glossed over when you're in that stage of growing your business and not realizing what's important?
I think that there's so much, and CRMs is definitely a huge one. So remembering when people are supposed to pay you, if a
Mm,
contract has been signed. If you don't have an automated system for that, I know people that have delivered a final gallery didn't realize that their client hasn't PayPal'd them or Venmo'd them the final balance, and now they're just like out of money because
yeah.
no one has paid them.
Okay, yeah. I'm so excited that you mentioned that, Megan. Because I actually have students that literally just send PayPal invoices or have different payment plans for their clients, but they don't keep track of when they said those due dates were, or they're just asking clients to Zelle them or letting some clients pay in cash. And so I want to take a pause on this point because
Mhm.
do you have any idea, listener and Megan, how much my business and life changed when my CRM was just sending out automated payment reminders and I was able to click auto pay. And when I switched to just allowing one payment system to invoice my clients instead of allowing for a bunch of different forms of payment, how much easier it got for me, how much more money I made, and how much easier it was for my clients to be able to lock in right away when that was systemized. Have you always been with a CRM for invoicing?
I would say for most of my career, yeah. Maybe the
Right.
first year when I was like just starting and I didn't know that how important that was, I wasn't doing it.
Yeah, so I can speak as a boomer that when I first started my business, I was allowing people to pay me through snail mail with a written check. And
Yeah.
so we know that removing friction from the process of potential clients booking you helps you book out faster and have ease of cash flow in your business. But I can speak to the other side of doing it wrong, where
Hmm.
it was so stressful not knowing when I was getting paid and if clients were actually locked in until I got their weird snail mail check to be able to say,
Yeah.
okay, you're actually booked for this wedding.
Yeah.
So if
No,
you're in that boat right now,
I've had friends over here because I'm based in Scotland.
yes.
So, if they have someone that is not from the UK that doesn't pay in pounds, they have to go to like a physical, I'm too baby for this. They have to go to like a physical place to like pick up money from somebody here, but they were taking a bus to the other side of town. And I just like looked at her, I'm like, why wouldn't you just set up Stripe?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm just
Mm-hmm.
like too baby, but I'm like, that's why are you taking a bus to the other side of town to go pick up a check? Like
I
this
am
is 2026.
no fucking shit. And from a client side, if someone makes it hard for me to pay them, they lose the fucking sale. Like,
Yeah,
period. The easier
I
you can
agree.
make it for your clients to pay you, the more you will get booked, the more people will choose you over the competition. If a photographer makes it confusing or hard for me to hire them, they are not getting hired.
No,
Um,
I wouldn't hire them.
Also, I have to say, like, being able to require auto pay with my invoicing system takes so much stress off. Like, just knowing for a fact that I will get paid what my fun little chart is telling me I will get paid every month helps me make great informed decisions about how I spend my money every month.
Absolutely. And I think for me, so I use Studio Ninja. I was a HoneyBook user.
Hmm.
Studio Ninja is available worldwide. HoneyBook is only in the US and Canada, so I can't use it anymore. But I don't believe that there's an auto pay option. However, I have like automated emails that are going out if
Yes,
something is past due. Or I'm getting notifications like a week in that, hey, this person still isn't paid yet. So I know that I need to like get on the phone with them or send them an email and be like, girl, what's going on? How can I help? Like, why aren't we paying this?
absolutely.
So
Okay, I'm obsessed with this. So just to recap again, so that come back to me and Megan if you got distracted. We are giving you a little recap lesson really quick for your CRM. But imagine how much easier life would be if your contract, your invoices, that was all living in the same place in a really, really easy place to access for both you and your client. And those invoices were going out automatically with email reminders going out automatically, reminding people when to pay. You're able to visually see how much money you're getting on the month to month level and for the overall year. And not only that, but when it's time for you to serve your clients, all of your email templates for doing that all live in the same place. And this is all started and put together in one singular project and put on your calendar because you started the process with a form from your CRM on your website in the first place. Doesn't that sound beautiful, Megan?
easy.
Gorgeous,
Yeah, I think
easy.
it's worth the $20 a month for sure.
You're so right. I would spend $20 to make 20 to 30,000 a month.
Easy.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Literally the easiest decision. Shifting our mindset a little bit. If
Mhm.
any photographers listening and they're like, okay, I'm on board with the CRM, but what's actually plaguing my life and my heart is that I don't have an organizational system for my files. Like I'm losing shit. I don't even work off of a second hard drive. Like I'm fine in my business. I have enough education there, but I'm getting in the weeds in busy season with managing all my editing. What would you say to a photographer thinking that?
I would definitely encourage you to organize your hard drives first and foremost. That way you just like know where everything is. Also knowing where your cards are in case your hard drive corrupts. So I
Hmm.
always live in the mindset of technology sucks. So what are like five different ways that I can make sure these wedding photos like never disappear? That would keep me up at night for so long. Like I use a dual card slot camera, and I know if you're brand new, maybe you can't afford that yet. But once you can, I highly recommend it just so I don't lose sleep at night. But yeah, organizing, knowing like where all your cards live, what cards you've already used, so you're not like erasing or writing over something. And then organizing your hard drive to make sure you know where like the raws are versus what you've selected and culling. And then lost my train of thought. Um,
We talked cards, we talked about
Mhm.
what
Oh, and then making sure that you back this up to the cloud or into just like a Google Drive to make sure that the photos that you're using are never ever going to go away.
so a photographer is listening to this, slash videographer. I'm so sorry, videographers. You know I love you.
We
But
love
someone,
you.
yes, someone's listening to this and they're like just feeling attacked. They're like, okay, mommies, I totally get it. Like, but I don't know where the fuck to start if I haven't already started all of this stuff. I even have students calling you out right now who at the beginning of the year were just editing off of their computers. If they're like, I'm not even using another hard drive yet, what would be the best next step for them to take today that wouldn't be scary, overwhelming, shameful?
It's a great question. Like I would just go and get a hard drive off Amazon. I think that they're like fairly cheap. You could def it's worth the investment again to not be like backing up hundreds of gigabytes of photos like onto your laptop because that's going to make your computer so slow. And just having a separate space to store all your photos and just I always like to have like a pretty good work-life balance and not mesh like all my photo business stuff with all my personal stuff. So just having like one thing that I can plug into my laptop to be like, this is my workspace is really beneficial for me.
Yeah, and I'm so on board with you there. To my gorgeous listener who's thinking like, okay, but I've like seen a lot of scary stuff on Instagram and TikTok about hard drives failing. Like, what does that mean? And like, how do I pick the right one? And what do you even do in this case?
I would definitely like do your research on which hard drive might work best for you. I currently still use the lacy ones. I think there's some people that are like, that's not as professional as it could be, but it works for me. That's all that matters. And again, we're talking about backing up your files into the cloud as well, keeping them on your SD cards until you fully delivered a gallery, just in case for some reason your hard drive does corrupt. And like we've all heard the scary stories, you still have copies of those photos in now two other places on your SD card and in the cloud.
Oh, yeah. To any listener that's listening and they're like, okay, so I need to figure out how to systemize organizing all my files. How does that actually help me in business? Like, how does this lead into what I'm actually trying to do, which is just to make time for more marketing? Because right now I'm just drowning in the emails and the editing and shit. But like, I want the entirety of my business to work better and be more organized. What would you say to them?
Absolutely. And now we're going to start talking about how we build this workflow into marketing. So once you're
Oh,
exporting
yeah.
those files, we can also export them at the same time into like web-size files that can go right from your hard drive into some place like Canva that are already sized accordingly to put into blogs. So you're not like having to do this whole other step like 2 weeks later and going, oh, I'm too lazy to do this, or procrastinating writing this blog because the files are too big. If you're
Mm-hmm.
exporting both things at the same time, or you're going back into your gallery and just like downloading the web size of your favorites, like so be it. But once we like can put these things into Canva, it just eliminates that whole roadblock of I don't know what to post. I need to find pictures. I need to upload pictures into Canva. If they're already living in there, then that whole roadblock is gone and you can just post your favorite pictures.
Hell yeah. Okay. So I know for like a type B photographer, videographer slash an ADHD girly, they're listening to this and they're like,
Mhm.
okay, Megan is cool. She's talking about a lot of nerdy, boring shit that I really get is super important. But like, how the fuck can I make time to actually do this? So I want to speak to that now. Like, in your opinion, with we covered a ton of topics today about
Mhm.
organization and creating an organized photography business. Is this going to take them a ton of time to implement, or how long do you think it would actually take for them to make all this boring shit happen in their business?
I definitely don't think it would take a long time. If you're able to sit down and write out everything you need to do, I would say it could take you 10 hours or less. If you want to zoom through it, you could sit down, hyper focus for 8 hours and get your entire photography business organized and make more money.
Amazing. Do you think they, now I know as someone who DIY'd my way through my own dumbass photo video business that
Same.
I was able to piece together a bunch of information and do this on my own. But if I'm just
Mhm.
being super candid, this stuff happened way faster and better for me when I actually started investing in help, in courses and in mentorships and in just get like outsourcing some of the stuff that I just would not implement on my own.
Yeah,
So Megan, I actually brought you on today because you've crafted a tool that would help people listening do this way, way, way fucking faster than either of us did. Can you speak to
so
that?
true. Yeah, so I was in a really similar boat where I think I kept paying all these photographers for mentorships to talk about like how to organize my business or how the hell I'm supposed to like set up a CRM or like I think we're just like in the same wave space. So I saw that as like a big pain point in the industry.
Yeah.
No one teaches us how to like set up a business. We all DIY it and figure it out. So I wanted to put a course together that was just easy to follow along. It breaks everything up into just small bite-sized pieces. So if you only have 20 minutes, you can still implement like one of the steps within this course of setting up your CRM or organizing your hard drive. So that was my main goal with this course was just to make it super accessible. And if you do have kids, if you're ADHD and you can only focus for 10 minutes, all I need is 10 minutes of your time to get started on one of these lessons.
Yeah. And Megan's being really, really modest right now, but I always like to speak to pain, right? So, like, maybe it's like, okay, yeah, I know I should floss twice a day, but like the person who goes to the dentist and their gums are fucking rotting out, like, they're more likely to listen. So, if you're listening to this, and even if you're really far in your business and things look really successful and gorgeous from the outside, but you're like, no, I'm drowning in emails. No, I have no idea how to contact my clients in order to serve them really well. I don't know how to pump out these location guides faster so that I'm not spending hours and hours like remaking these every time. Like, if you have problems with systems in your business, you need a solution that's really, really fucking fast to implement. Because if you've procrastinated this long, you need someone to lead you to the finish line and help solve your problems faster and easier and better. And so, Megan, I would love to hear about your new tool. And tell us the name, tell us how you're helping people, and tell them how fast they can get these results.
Yeah, so this course is called Creating the Organized Photographer, and a
Yeah.
lot of the people that I've been seeing, or the big reason like why I've started this is because I have so many like full-time established photographers in the industry, but I also know myself as a newer photographer was really looking for something like this. We were all just like a little lost on like how to set up a CRM, like taking full advantage of your CRM. You're paying $20 a month, or if you're paying for HoneyBook, what, $60 a month, something like really expensive. Taking advantage of like every single aspect of it, so you're not just like throwing money in a garbage bin to like get a contract signed. Like use the full CRM. So
Agreed.
we're totally gonna dive in to, like I said, admin spaces. There's no one telling us what to do. So like time blocking, we're separating our work and personal life, and we just want to make it really easy to contact us and get a hold of us. Things aren't going to like a personal email or your we're putting together like your call scheduler and how to implement that, how to send that. With CRMs, we want to go over our touch points and workflows so your client is getting the same experience every time. You know what you offer when someone is asking you, like, well, what is the process of working with you like? You have like an entire list now of like exactly every time you're going to talk to somebody, and you can promise that to somebody. And we just want to make, we're going to set up the CRMs so it works for you. If you have like 5 tasks that you need to do, you're getting reminders on these dates, or we're setting up so it's like 6 weeks before the session, you're sending out this questionnaire. We're also going to go into photo organization. We never want to lose pictures. That is really embarrassing. I'm sorry if that's ever happened to you because I would probably die. If I lost like anyone's wedding photos. Like thank God, knock on wood, that's like never happened to me. But I also feel like there's very low odds of that happening because I have like 5 different backup methods now, which every photographer, whether you're brand new or you're a professional, you should have that. So we're talking about that. We're going to get into a little bit of marketing and how you can come up with some ideas, and just like recycle things from blog posts or talk about ways that we can just easily put out more marketing strategies on to things like Instagram and TikTok.
Beautiful. Okay, I'm obsessed with this. I'm obsessed with you. And I cannot put a finer point on this. Like, all that is really, really great. But more to the point, you can do this in just a couple of hours, you guys. So you're not going to buy this honking huge fucking course, and it's not
Mhm.
going to be thousands of dollars, and it's not going to be hundreds of hours of your time. You're going to be able to go balls to the wall and implement this, and it's all going to be done by next week. So, with that
Yeah.
said, the link is below to creating the organized photographer. Megan is your guide to getting you organized in your business, whether you're a type B girly or an ADHD girly or anything in between. And you are just going to have the most organized, most successful, most beautiful year because of this course. Link down below is an affiliate link. I'm going to get a few dollars selling this thing to
Oh
you,
yeah, you will.
but it's going to change your fucking life. Meg, it's the best. Where can people find you on Instagram, etc.?
Yeah, so my Instagram username is megangibson.photo. My name is spelled Meghan Gibson.photo. My parents wanted to throw an H in there for shits and gigs.
I mean, why not? Megan, thank
Just
you
for fun.
so much. You are going to help so many people with this, and I hope your DMs are just flooded with questions from type B girlies after listening to this.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to see everybody in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Beautiful, gorgeous, perfect raccoon with a camera. Let's hang out.